Good evening, everyone. I'd like to bring the Fall River Housing Authority meeting to order. It's Wednesday, January 19th.
No, 24th.
Oh, 24th, I'm sorry, and it's Monday.
Yes.
It's Monday, January 24th, and the meeting is being held at 4:30 PM. Martha, will you take a roll call, please?
Yes. Chairwoman Sahadi?
Yes.
Vice
Here.
Chairman Underhill?
Here.
Commissioner Burns?
Here.
Commissioner Bentley?
Here.
Commissioner Medeiros?
Here.
Because we have a number of, or at least an individual that needs to leave early, I'd like to make a motion or bring to your attention that we could bring items 4A, B, and C out of order. Do I have a motion to do that this evening?
Madam Chairman, before we do that, should I read the open meeting law?
Oh, yes, I'm
Just
sorry.
wanted for the record, the language of the open meeting law is as follows. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made whether perceived or unperceived by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible.
Thank you, Attorney Souza. With that said, do we have a motion to move items 4A, B, and C
Motion to take it out of order.
out of order?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 4 is the election of officers for calendar year 2022. Do we have a motion on the floor for chairman?
I make a motion for Mary Sahadi. Chairman.
Second that motion?
Roll call, Martha, please.
Yes. Vice Chairman Underhill?
Yes.
Commissioner Bentley?
Yes.
Commissioner Medeiros?
Yes.
Commissioner Burns?
Yes.
Chairwoman Sahadi?
Yes. Do I have a motion for vice chair?
Motion for Commissioner Underhill for Vice Chair.
I second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Burns?
Yes.
Commissioner Bentley?
Yes.
Commissioner Medeiros?
Yes.
Vice Chair Underhill? Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry. And Chairwoman Sahadi?
Yes. And a motion for the treasurer, please.
Motion for Jason Burns as treasurer.
Second.
Vice Chairman Underhill?
Yes.
Commissioner Medeiros?
Yes.
Commissioner Bentley?
Yes.
Commissioner Burns?
Yes.
Chairwoman Sahadi?
Yes. Thank you, everyone, and
Thank you.
congratulations again.
Thank you. Thanks,
It'll be
guys.
nice working with all of you again this year. Item 4A is the executive session. The recommended action is anticipated executive session pursuant to Mass General Law 30A, Sections 21A3, to discuss the strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting law may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares. Item B is a COLA increase effective December 2020 for executive director. The recommended action is the same. And item C is a COLA increase effective December 2021 for the executive director, and that is also the same for the recommended action. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, do we have a motion to go back into regular session?
Yeah, we did that.
So moved.
Perfect.
Second.
Is there any citizens' input this evening? Any residents' input? Next month, okay. Item 2 is minutes of the regular meeting held on December 13th, 2021. Do I have a motion to accept?
Motion to accept. Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item 3 is bills and communications. 3A are vouchers. The vouchers are included in your packet. The recommended action is to accept. Do I have a motion on the vouchers?
Motion to accept vouchers.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing no questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Item 4 are the management reports. You have 8 management reports in your packet. 1 is the applications, 2 is the occupancy report, 3 is the tenant accounts receivable, 4 is the work order reports, 5 is the monthly Section 8 voucher activity report, 6 is the monthly personnel count report, 7 is the Director of Modernization monthly report, and 8 is the bank investment and bond debt balance reports. The recommended action is to accept these reports as presented. Do I have a motion to accept the reports?
Motion to accept?
Second?
Any questions with regard to any of these? We have some of our personnel here this evening, or staff here this evening, that could answer questions if you have any. Hearing no questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Item 5 rather, is the financial reports. You have item A, which is the federal program through the period ended October 2021. The recommended action is to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Any questions? We have our director here this evening.
For the Director of Finance, if you will, just second year, if you will, maybe second plus with COVID. How are the finances, and how, from what we expected, and
So for our income, we're in a really good spot because due to, I would say occupancy was down compared to last year over this year, so our income is actually up. Our expenses are obviously up as well because there was a lot of unaccounted for expenses that weren't included in the budget. However, they're all offset with COVID funds that we had, so we're in a very good spot. For the financial reports, there's not really anything that we haven't already spoke about. Everything's pretty much in line. I've already started working on the budget for next year, and kind of just getting everything and making sure we have a little bit of additional funds for any expenses that may be tied to COVID, because we don't know if we'll end up getting additional COVID income. So it's kind of just trying to make sure we account for any additional expenses and then seeing what the government decides to give us.
Thank you.
perfect, thank you.
Before you leave, we have item B here. All in favor for item A?
Aye.
Aye.
Item B is the financial reports for November 20th. Do I have a motion to accept the November 2021 report?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Any questions while Amber is still sitting in front of us? No questions? Thank you, Amber. All in favor?
Aye.
Item 6 is an update from the executive director.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a few items quickly. The staff completed work on the DACD capital improvement plan and the agency plan for 2022. So much appreciation to the Deputy Executive Director, Kevin Spardella, the Director of Housing Operations, Kathleen Povar, and the Director of Facilities, Ed Majewski, and their respective staffs. A lot of time goes into the reports, as well as to the Executive Administrative Assistant, Martha, who does a lot of the compiling, assisting with the signatures and whatnot. It's a lot of work by the staff, a very thankful job to them for that. Among the other items on the agenda tonight, we have 3 contract awards for architect services. Normally, these don't go on the agenda, and I just thought it was something that the board should be aware of and see what we're paying the the architects for each job. In the beginning of the year, we approve a pool of architects to do the work, but you never actually see what we're paying an architect for a specific job. So I just thought it would be good to put that in front of you, and you can decide going forward if that's something you want to keep or not. The union has requested a special meeting to discuss the unfilled painter position, so we've provided information to them on that, and we'll be having some discussions later on. We currently have 1 open position in that respective trades. The auditors are completing work on the fiscal year '21 financial submissions, and they told me that will be done by the end of March. So that'll be completed and all done by my retirement date, which is good. The Family Self-Sufficiency Program had 4 graduates. They received a total of $44,000, which is quite admirable. One of our employees is also a participant in that program, and it's a great program, helps them put away money to buy a house, help with expenses, college, tuition, daycare, whatnot, so we're really happy to see that happen. And just finally, the COVID Omicron has affected us, but thankfully, it hasn't hindered our operations the way that the SARS COVID did. We've been able to maintain the operations, although we've had, I'd say on a daily basis, 10 employees out. And if you look at the quarantine time of 5-6 days, it's kind of a rolling basis, but nothing that's been overly detrimental to our day-to-day operations. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Barrows?
I do have a question. I'm not sure if it's appropriate for him or somebody else, but he can forward it somewhere else. I think last month we talked about either increasing or re-upping a contract for, I believe we were talking about Calamaderis. We had an issue with whether it be bed bugs or cockroaches or whatever it was. Just, has that contract been executed? How are we doing? Is it improving? Where do we stand?
We did take care of that through additional services. Kevin, you have more detail, I'm sure, on that.
Yes, so Tim McCoy, our procurement officer, put together an addendum to the contract, or emergency contract, if you will, for added services. And that started, I believe, on January the 10th. A full assessment starting from the top floor on down. That's been ongoing. Deb Morissette, the Associate Director of Property Management, has been communicating really well with them and giving us updates via email, and so far so good. They're getting into every unit, they're doing the assessment, and then I believe this coming week they're going to start treating where they need to treat. Maintenance has been working along
So it's
with
just
them.
eval for now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
And we had trouble getting into units?
we did.
So not anymore, we're not having that trouble?
Not anymore, because it's both someone from the site office and from the maintenance department.
They're making good progress compared to what it was. They're there every day. There's more than one tech. There's 2 or 3. They have gone through all 12 floors that are occupied with inspections, but I just received notice today that they're going to do it again starting tomorrow, which I think is a good thing. And they were much more thorough in this inspection than they have been. It's new technicians that are doing it, so I think we're on the right track.
Good, I appreciate it. I yield.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Madam Chairwoman, I just wanted to acknowledge Tim McCoy, procurement officer, for his hard work on the procuring of the 4 items we were able to use the CARE Act funding for. He is here in the audience. I know he worked nights, he worked weekends to get this procured, and it was no easy task, and he got it done for us. New software program, kiosk for tenant selection, Section 8, phone systems, a couple other smaller items, so.
Legal software,
a few other things, so he did a great job with that. Just want to acknowledge him for that.
Yes, he did, because he was sending me contracts left and right while I was in Florida to sign, so can't see him from here, he's blocked, but he did a great job at executing all of those contracts and getting them out.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks. Good job.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Chairwoman.
You're very welcome, and thank you for the hard work. Moving on, new business. Item 1 is modernization. 1A is the DHCD capital improvement plan for the fiscal years 2022 through 2026. The recommended action is to approve those CIP plans. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item B is a change order number 4 for the elevator improvements at Cardinal Maderas Towers. The change order is an increase of $4,854 to the contract, amount for repairs to the fire service for the code compliance.
Madam Chairwoman, I'm going to abstain from this vote.
Sure, I understand. Do I have a motion to approve this change order?
I make a motion to approve change order number 4 for elevator improvements.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstained?
Abstain.
Thank you. Item C is a change order for the exterior building envelope/balcony repairs and roof replacement at the James A. O'Brien Senior Apartments. Change order number 2 is also an increase of $22,544.88 to the contract. Amounts for repairs in the cracked exterior concrete walkways and the exterior stairwell / retaining wall located in the parking lot at the east side of the building, and upgrade lighting protection system. Do I have a motion to approve this change order?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Item D is a certificate of substantial completion and certificate of final completion for emergency replacement of underground gas lines and service meters at Maple Gardens. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sorry. Slow.
Item E is permission to advertise for bids for the building envelope improvements at Heritage Height. The estimated contract value is $190,000 with construction to start June 2022. Roofing is planned for the summer of 2023. The recommended action is to approve the advertisement for these bids.
Just for my own knowledge, what is building envelope improvement?
Exterior.
That just means the whole business. Okay. I just never heard the envelope part of it.
Sure, if you'd like.
We're looking to do all the fascias, any soffits that have to be replaced that haven't been done since the buildings were remodeled, and all exterior doors.
Oh, okay.
To that effect, to make them watertight.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Motion.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item F is a contract award for the fire alarm panel replacement at Raymond D. Holmes apartment. There were 2 bids that were received and opened on December 6, 2021. The recommended action is to award the contract to the low bidder, Sparks Company, Inc., in the amount of $30,482.
Motion to approve the low bid.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Item G is the awards for the architectural services. Item 1 is a contract to William Stock Architects in the amount of $38,900 for roof replacements of 3 buildings at Sunset Hill. Item 2 is a contract for William Stock Architects in the amount of $33,300 for exterior building work at Holmes Apartments. And item 3 is a contract to C.A. Crowley in the amount of $9,850 for fire alarm control panel replacements at the Holmes apartment. The recommended action is to approve each of these 3 items.
Looking for a motion to approve them as a group or one by one?
As a group.
As a group.
would be fine.
Motion to approve
unless
them.
Somebody wants to pull one out. As a
Motion to
group.
approve.
Sure, thank you. Do you have a second? No, hearing no second. Do we have any discussion?
I'm just wondering why, is this what you were talking about earlier, Tim, about
Right,
letting us know?
yeah, exactly.
Is this already,
Yeah, so I respectfully disagree with the executive director on putting this on. This is a daily operational function of the mod department. This is their fee in conjunction with the project they're going to do. So, for example, the first one, 38-9, to do 3 building roofs at Sunset Hill, that's going to come in anywhere from $360,000 to $400,000 to replace those 3 roofs. That's about 10% of the construction cost, which is well in the industry standard. It's the industry standard is anywhere from 8 to 20% for A&E fees, and also when I put the capital funds program along with Arthur together, we always account for 15% for A&E fees. And why it would be detrimental on a daily basis, because if Arthur Anderson, our director, wants to put out one of these projects, if he has to wait every month to get approval for a fee, we're going to lose 4 weeks on every job. As soon as we sign the fee proposal, they start with the investigation, the drawings, and the different phases to get the job done. It's again, it's a daily operational function of the modernization department. We've never put these on the agendas before. It's just going to bottleneck the projects.
So are these, I don't mean to interrupt you, but are these fees included in the contract that we do approve for the total project?
They are. So we do a 3-year contract with our AD services, not to exceed $250,000 in fees.
Okay.
So if a designer did 5 jobs and they met that or came close to that, then there wouldn't be any more projects assigned to that designer.
So this is information only, is what you're telling
It
us?
should, yeah, and then certainly if you're concerned about the dollar amount, when the Director of Modernization asks for permission to advertise for a particular project, that's a perfect opportunity for questions and answers. What's the estimated cost? What's the designer fee estimated on? But it's just, it makes no sense.
Or being the accountant that I am, then maybe what we should have is a running total. So if we approve 200 in the beginning of the year for these types of services, then we should be subtracting each time we do this.
Just report back to us where we're at.
So
the
we know
status.
what we're at.
Yeah.
For information as well.
So both of these companies are house doctors,
Correct.
and a 3-year term? Or is it 18 months with an up?
18 and 18.
18 and 18?
And
Is it 250 for 18 or 250 for 3?
250 for 3.
Okay.
So, as you know from experience, we give a lot of projects to you when you were one of our house doctors for many years, and you give a fee proposal, and we
And
sign
once
it.
your fee is gone, it's gone, and then you're done for those 3 years or 18
Right.
months, whatever it's,
Right.
you're done.
So what we do is, and what Arthur does is, he distributes the project based on experience in previous phases. So, for example, Stock Architect did previous phases of roofs down there, so we're going to assign them. They have all the drawings, they already have a running start, they hit the ground running. But if we have to put this on the board every month, he's held, he's handcuffed for 4
I mean, unless
weeks.
someone disagrees, the way I'm understanding this should be information only and not a vote of the board.
Correct.
So I think we should change the recommended action to information only,
yeah.
if everyone's okay with that.
So I have to rescind my motion to approve. Is that the appropriate parliamentary procedure?
I would say that you should.
I rescind.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, item 2 is miscellaneous. 2A is the Florida Housing Authority Agency Plan 2022, the annual plan, and the certificate 5-year annual plan. It was executed by myself, and the certificate by the state and local officials of the PHA plan, consistent with the consolidated plan, and that was executed by the mayor. The recommended action here is approval.
Make a motion to approve the agency plan.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item B is the fiber optic internet for HCV/Section 8 Department. The recommended action is procure consultant for RFP to provide fiber optic internet at Cardinal Madeiras Towers. Can someone tell us a little bit about that, please?
So we're going to be, one of the CARES Act spending we procured as a new software program, PHA Web for our operating systems. And it was discussed early on if the fiber optic would increase the speed of that and the efficiency of that. But we don't know that. It may not be needed. So I think if we wait until the software is integrated, which is not expected till March or April, we can get a better idea if we should install the fiber optic or not, rather than do it now and then find out that it's not
Useless.
needed. Yeah.
So this is just to get a consultant to come on board to assess the situation?
Yes.
So we should just table this?
No.
Or
Well, I think we need to procure the consultant, is what I'm understanding this to be, correct?
Yeah, if you get
For
a
the
consultant,
RFP.
then you'll know whether it makes sense to get the fiber optic cable or not. Otherwise,
But is it exempt from 30B, or do we have to do an RFP for it?
I don't think it's exempt from 30B.
No, correct? So we would have to go out for bid for the consultant?
Yep. Chairwoman Sahadi, we can't take, HUD won't let us take advantage of state exemptions, even if there was one, so we would have to.
Understood.
I think the, and I'm a little out of the loop on this, but I think the timeline though should be what Kevin alluded to, get PHA Web in here, and get set up. And then, because until that's running, I don't see how a consultant can say, geez, it should be running at, I don't know the terminology, but 8 megabytes quicker or something to that effect. So if the implementation is going to be in March, maybe when we're closer to completion, do some sort of it may not rise to the level of an RFP, because again, the threshold in Mass is 50,000 to do an RFP process. So it may be nothing more than maybe a sealed quote process. But again, I think we've got to be closer to the implementation and the operating of the PHA Web to see if, before we bring the consultant in, to see if any sort of an upgrade to fiber optics to increase the speed and connectivity would even be worthwhile.
So it sounds like a table.
Sounds like a table.
That's what I said.
So do I have a motion to table this item until the...
Motion to
further
table.
time?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 3 is personnel. Item 3A is the temporary truck driver position, permission to advertise or post in-house, rather. Do you have a motion to post
Motion to
in-house?
post.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item B is a computer and security systems administrative position. The recommended action is to approve the description. Now, this is a position that we haven't had in the past. So again, at this particular point, is it something that we want to go forward with now, or do we want to, I don't know who's going to speak on this matter. I know this has been discussed quite some time ago.
We discussed it, I think back in September, and then at several department head meetings, we thought that if we were going to hire someone, it should be 2 separate positions, 2 separate concentrations, network, technology, tech, and security cameras. However, I did ask Mr. McCoy last month, we put out a proposal, request for services for this, and we received 3. The the current vendor that we have, whose contract expired, and we did a 30-day extension, a company from Cranston and a company from Fairhaven, MTSI. Tim felt, in lieu of putting that on the agenda for a vote, put the job description on there. But I think with the turnaround time to fill this, even if we're able to fill it, at least if we put the vendor services on for a vote, we would have someone in place. It's a 2-year contract, and we would have someone should there be an issue with a network system, a virus, a crash, or something. Right now, the vendor we have, the contract expires the end of this month, and that was already an extension. And as Tim McCoy can speak to this, procurement laws, you can't keep extending someone's contract. At some point, you got to go out to a new process.
So, as Kevin mentioned, last September, the board directed us to come back with a position description, which is here. The board did not direct us to go out for quotes and procure a contract for 2 years for a computer administrator. That was done without the board's knowledge and without my knowledge, frankly. So what is before the board is what the board had requested of the administration. We talked about the need for a computer security administrator in September, and it was everyone's thought that you wanted, at least on the board, you wanted us to come back with that position, which we have. You did not indicate you wanted us to come back with a 2-year contract for services. So that being the case, we took the RFP descriptions, so there was no, I mean, the work wasn't futile because basically the duties and job descriptions that came out of that RFP are in here. Mary, we've had a conversation where the city failed to hire someone, but that was at a much lower salary. We have a much higher salary in this position, I believe, $85,000 to $90,000, $96,000. To have a staff member on board would be much more advantageous than any contractor. You have someone managing processes, not just reacting or responding to calls. If this position did not pan out for whatever reason, whether the money's not enough, whether there's not a big response, we can always go to the contractor, but ideally, I think it makes sense for an organization our size to have a full-time employee dedicated to that, those needs.
So this item is just to approve the job description. What about the advertisement for the job itself?
We would want to do that as well. We would also request the board do that. Inadvertently, that was left off the agenda.
My sense is, if I may, is that we're not really on the same page here, and I'd prefer to table it until we get on the same page. And this is an important position, it's something we're looking for, so in the meantime, I'd be in favor of tabling it, so I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item C is the retirement of an employee. The recommended action is to approve the retirement of Timothy S. Sparrow, Executive Director, effective March 31st, 2022. Do I have a motion to approve his retirement?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Do I need a roll call for this?
Sure.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Underhill?
Yes.
Commissioner Burns?
Yes.
Commissioner Bentley?
Yes.
Chairwoman Sahadi?
Yes. Item D is an executive director search in terms of discussion. At this particular point, I don't know how everyone else feels. We should probably move on advertising for the position and all of the professional guidance and publications. Does that make sense to everyone?
Should that specific
The,
be on the agenda like that? Because it's only for discussion
It's only for
here?
discussion.
It's only for
Yeah, yeah.
discussion, right.
So but you were kind of suggesting that we start the process of advertising for it. My only question was, do we have to,
Put it on the agenda.
yeah, to be that specific, should that have been on the agenda?
It should be on the agenda, yes.
So it's
If
only
if you're gonna-
discussion.
So this is only for discussion to
Right.
decide how you want to proceed. So at the next meeting, we could have Martha put it on for advertising.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Item E is the clerk interviewer position. 3, tenant selection department. Recommended action is to ratify the approval for in-house posting and external advertising on our website for these 3 positions.
Motion to ratify.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item F is a clerk interviewer position. 2, tenant selection departments. The recommended action is to ratify the appointment of Susan Coster and John Goldrick.
Motion to ratify the appointments.
Second?
Martha, roll call, please.
Commissioner Burns?
Yes.
Commissioner Underhill?
Yes.
Commissioner Bentley?
Yes.
Chairwoman Sahadi?
Yes. Item G is the maintenance custodial/floater positions. There's 3. The recommended action is to ratify the approval for in-house posting and external advertising on the website for the 3 positions.
Make a motion to ratify approval for in-house posting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And item H is the maintenance custodial/floater positions. The 3 positions, recommended action is to ratify the appointment of Mark Armorentes, Lawrence Forsica, and Cody Medeiros.
Motion to ratify.
Second?
Martha, please.
Commissioner Burns?
Yes.
Commissioner Underhill?
Yes.
Commissioner Bentley?
Yes.
Chairwoman Sahadi?
Yes. Is there anything else to come before the board this evening? Yes.
Just a note, longtime Commissioner Roger Taché recently passed away. Provided a lot of time and effort and service into this board. I'd like to thank him. Hopefully his family sees this for everything he did for us. And I appreciated working with him. We didn't always agree, but we always had some nice debates. So I'll miss him, and just wanted to make sure we recognized his time here. So.
Thank you.
I second that.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.